Look, if I punched people in the face as well as this guy did, I'd probably stock my garage with enough hardware to start my own Fast and Furious franchise too. Here are a few of Floyd Money Mayweather's greatest treasures. What seems to be the most money Floyd Mayweather has spent on a single car, this man dropped nearly $5 million on an extremely rare Koenigsegg CCXR Trevita. Only 2 of these CCXR offshoots were ever made, as a sort of homage to the original, which broke records like nobody's business back in its glory days. Like the original CCXR, the Trevita has a 4.8-liter twin-supercharged V8 engine that can run on biofuel and reach up to 1,018 horsepower. Koenigsegg produces a specially made diamond-colored carbon fiber, which gives the Trevita its particular shine, but honestly, I wouldn't put it past Mayweather to buy a car actually made of diamonds. Mayweather bought this rare piece of machinery for $4.8 million, and for a short while it was the most expensive car in his garage. Floyd, however, has a habit of buying ridiculously expensive collectible cars and then selling them shortly afterward. So, while this rare piece is no longer in his collection, it shows the lengths pretty boy Floyd will go to fill those empty spaces in his garage with something worth boasting about. The Bugatti Chiron is an upgrade of a previous model, which don't worry we will get to as Mayweather owns several of those. This version is said to be the fastest model that Bugatti has ever produced. The car contains an 8-liter quad-turbo W16 engine, which was chosen over a hybrid in order to save weight, making the car that much faster. The Chiron was set to be unveiled in 2017, but that wasn't soon enough for Floyd. He dropped a mere $3.5 million as a down payment for the Chiron, getting himself to be put on a shortlist as one of the first to receive this custom-made vehicle. Mayweather found the Chiron to be one of his favorites, and he actually saved it, leaving it a part of his collection to this day. As far as rare vehicles go, the Ferrari Enzo, which debuted in 2003, is definitely up there. However, they're not rare enough for one Mr. Mayweather. He has sold at least 2 of the rare breed of Ferrari, each for well over $1 million. But with money's proclivity towards Ferraris, I wouldn't be surprised if he had 1 or 2 more stored away for a rainy day. While in his possession, the Enzo was certainly an impressive piece of his collection. In 2002, only 399 units were produced, making it a must-have for Floyd Mayweather, for a measly price of $3.2 million. Since parting with 2 of them, it may be unknown if he has any more tucked away up his sleeve, but even if it's not an Enzo, he definitely has 1 or 2 Ferraris to spare. 007 himself would be proud of this purchase made by the former champion of the world. The Aston Martin 177 was so named for the number of models produced. Only 77 models of this Aston Martin exist, making this yet another extremely rare vehicle owned by the lavished millionaire. Floyd Mayweather had purchased this fine vehicle along with his Pagani as part of a plan to literally double the entire value of his car collection. At the time, it was valued around $15 million, and he was looking to up it to at least 30. The Aston Martin 177 was extremely difficult to find at the time Floyd's buyers were looking for it, but alas, one showed up. With a V12 engine and a top speed of 220 miles per hour, the 177 is probably Floyd's best, just over $3 million purchase when he wants to go cruising around pretending to be James Bond on the weekends. At some point, I wonder if Bugatti just gives Floyd Mayweather a free Veyron every now and then for all the free promotion he has done for them in the form of excessive amounts of Bugattis he has purchased and shown off to the world. The Veyron, released in 2011, was at one point the pinnacle of speed and performance in a vehicle. Floyd has bought and sold these like one might buy a video game, realize they don't actually want to play it and would rather just look at it for a year and then put it on eBay. Each of the Veyrons that Mayweather has bought and sold range around the $1.5 million mark. However, one of Floyd's favorites is a 2015 offshoot of the Veyron known as the Grand Sport Vitesse. Mayweather spent $3.5 million on this black and orange beauty, which has an 8-liter W16 engine and a top speed of over 250 miles per hour. So while he certainly has plenty of options, it's likely he would choose this Bugatti to outrun the rest of the Paul siblings who keep hounding him for a boxing match. Shy of spending $2 million is really a light spending day for Floyd Mayweather when it comes to new vehicle purchases. However, his collection still consists of million-dollar gems that put most other cars to shame. The Mercedes-Benz SLR McLaren was made in 2003 and sold all the way to 2010. There were just over 2,000 units produced during that time, making it one of the more common cars that Mayweather owns, which is really just insane when you stop and think about it. The car was made with special Formula One designs in mind, meaning it was designed to be faster and more aerodynamic, making it Floyd's bread and butter. However, Mayweather would go on to sell the vehicle, as the similarities to Formula 1 racers actually proved to be a detriment of this design. Personally, I love slamming my forehead on the windshield every time I need to do something as foolish as, stopping, but surprisingly it's not for everyone. Though, Floyd did buy it in 2006 and sold it a little over 8 years later. So I guess that's a pretty long relationship between a man and his car, all things considered. Floyd Mayweather bought his Pagani Huayra along with his Aston Martin in an effort to double the total worth of his entire collection. Purchasing a vehicle for nearly $1.5 million is certainly a good start. I mean, personally, that car alone would be at least 10 times the value of my car, collection. For the former boxing champ though, this car is actually a lighter purchase, though it turned out to be one of his favorites. So, considering the Huayra fell into his lap while searching for his Aston Martin, I would say it turned out pretty well. Only 100 units of the Pagani collaboration were ever produced. The Huayra is one of the best mid-engine rear-wheel drive hypercars there is. It has perhaps one of the most unique aesthetic designs among any in Floyd's collection, and is more reliable than many other cars in its class. I mean, you could even say the Huayra is in a class all its own, which probably makes it that much more appealing to Floyd Mayweather. Leading up to Floyd Mayweather's famous pay-per-view fight with UFC champion Conor McGregor, some rumors were floating around about the boxing legend possibly experiencing financial troubles. In one video to dispel those rumors, Pretty Boy himself showed off an uncashed $100 million check, some designer watches, and mentioned the recent purchase of 2 rare LaFerrari Apertas, one red and one white. Only 499 of these models were ever made, with a special 500th one built specifically for an auction. While Floyd likely spent the normal price of a casual $1.4 million each, the 500th model sold for $10 million. The LaFerrari's open design and hybrid engine make it a very unique supercar. While Floyd is known at times to sell his extremely rare collectible cars shortly after buying them, it seems he may have a weak spot for the LaFerrari, since as far as we know both of his twin purchases are still featured in his collection. Imagine having so much money that not only could you go cruising in your LaFerrari, but you could loan your second one to a friend and race each other. Wait 1 week and you can probably find a story about Floyd Mayweather purchasing a new vehicle. Most recently, he dropped a cumulative $7.7 million on a fleet of new rides that included 3 new Bugattis, 3 new Ferraris, a Lamborghini, and a Porsche. He showed some of these off in an Instagram post featuring 7 all-white luxurious automobiles. This post also included a Maybach, Bentley, Range Rover, and some Rolls Royces of which Mayweather is extremely fond. Floyd also takes care of his inner circle, as he also recently dropped another $1 million on various vehicles for himself, his friends, and his family. This haul includes a Rolls-Royce White Ghost, 1 Mercedes S560, 1 Maybach sedan, 1 Dodge Journey, 2 Dodge Chargers, and 3 Dodge Challengers. So it's nice to know that his family isn't walking everywhere with $40 million worth of luxury cars just sitting in the garage. Floyd loves cars so much he even got a collection started for his son, who sports a very fancy Bentley golf cart. The man known as Money certainly earned that name and continues to live up to it, with his car collection being one of the most impressive to date.